Snap, crackle, pop, motherfucker. Welcome to the week. It's gonna be a good one. We have a full moon in Capricorn coming up on Wednesday, I believe it is. It's on the 13th. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like it's right in the middle of the afternoon on July 13th in Capricorn. And it may already be bringing up a lot of things for you guys. I know that I have been a bit weepy recently, and I think that we also talked about how Kabbalah warns us that the whole month of Cancer has potential to be very emotionally difficult. And so the challenge of the month of Cancer is overcoming the temptation to fall into frustration, sadness, despair, loneliness, isolation, feeling just like, just resigned. I think that it's all about overcoming sadness and really bringing joy and opening up to joy and filling your life with things that fill you up and make you feel expanded and uplifted and nurtured. And it's not that we want to bury our head in the sand or bypass. It's about examining the emotions that are coming up and trying to figure out, okay, what am I thinking about that is causing me these emotions? Are these thoughts real or true in any way? Or am I like dress rehearsing tragedy that hasn't happened yet? Am I having imaginary arguments with people in my mind that aren't really happening? You can start cutting all that off and out, and that clears up a lot of space, right? And so then you can say, okay, am I in resistance to like something in this moment that I could just be accepting of and then move on and not suffer, just let go and release control? Or like, is this thought a judgment that I'm having that is about a thing or a situation or a person that's making me feel like crap? Or are my thoughts revealing something to me and through my feelings about maybe subconscious patterns and belief systems that I need to reevaluate or take a look at, and reflect on and find where the root of that might come from and why. And, maybe it seems like something benign, but it just got, imprinted in an emotional or impressionable time in your life. So it's always good to start unpacking these things, I mean, it could have been a very poignant and harsh and difficult experience, that you're like, yeah, that definitely made an impression. That was definitely it. And, that takes a lot of unpacking too. And so I think we're just like going through a lot of that stuff this month, in the month of Cancer, and it is bringing up a lot of feelings, but it also gives us a lot of opportunity for personal growth and just overcoming our demons, and facing those things that we maybe have been reluctant to go and process because the anticipation of all the feeling that comes sometimes is worse than just letting it come. Feeling it, witnessing it, accepting it, appreciating the lesson that it's bringing, and then letting it release, feel it the way you need to feel it, express it in some way, maybe, write it out, it helps, but as much as you can digest and let these things go through and not hold on and try to linger or, and wallow or suffer worse than we have to, it's like, pain is unavoidable, and pain can be helpful, and pain can grow us and teach us. But suffering is by choice, and suffering is when we don't let the pain teach us. And we need a lot more help. Like one-on-one tutoring is when suffering comes in. Like, you're not getting the assignment, you're not getting the lesson. So yeah, and so then our new moon was in Cancer, which is the mother of the cosmos. So we've had, the mother wound that we've been working on and healing. And now all of this energy is culminating in Capricorn, who is the father of the cosmos. And so father wounds may be coming up for healing, or things that were as a result of father wounds may be more the issue. Like maybe not focused on your father specifically, but beliefs or patterns that you have inherited as a result of father wounds, like those could be in the midst of healing right now, which is very exciting. And I feel that all of that is confirmed by our cards today. So if you guys don't know, I take a really cool photograph and I write up a blog of our tarot or oracle cards or whatever on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I post it on Instagram. So I do our reading there first and I write it, and then I come back on here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays and talk about the extended message that I can just like go on and rap on about it. Whereas I can't really do that. I'm limited to the space on Instagram, but I like doing both. And so I'm Liz_Taylor_Magick spelled with a CK on Instagram. And you can also find my channel page on Instagram, Light Love Magick. But yeah, go join us there. Follow. I do fun things in my stories. So it's where I do here on YouTube, and Instagram is where I'm most active. I do have Facebook, but it's I don't know, Facebook just seems like a dust bowl of like tumbleweeds. Nothing's ever happening over there. And it just feels like one big argument or something. Whereas like Instagram is fun, and so is YouTube. YouTube is for us nerds to like hang out and have imaginary friends through the TV. It's like, what if I could see you? What are you doing? I could see you in your living room. I used to think that when I was little. I was like, I wonder if the people in the TV could see me when I was very young. I also used to have, so one thing that I used to do when I was very little was, or pretty much through most of my life, is that I would sort of pretend like I had like a late show, like Conan O'Brien or like David Letterman in my mirror. And I would also have like characters that I would be, like the Tracy Ullman Show. I was really into like sketch comedy like for my whole life. And so I would have this mirror show at my vanity, and basically that's kind of what YouTube is for me now, because I'm sitting here like basically talking into my phone camera to myself, but to you as myself, but like trying to look at the lens, because if I look at myself, I just look like I'm like looking off there. So yeah, anyway, I'm basically living out my childhood dream, which is great. Back to the point, we are overcoming our long-held patterns and wounds as a result of those parent wounds growing up. So I know that a lot of us that have been following our unfolding story and these readings over time have been working on cyclical parent healing for a long time. And I think that we're learning that, you know, as we learn things, it's not really that we ever completely finish our education in our soul. It's just that we kind of go layer by layer and layer, and we peel these outer layers off. And in Kabbalah, they call those outer layers klipot. And klipot is basically outer layers of negativity, which manifest as your patterns, negative behavioral patterns, negative emotional patterns, limiting beliefs, the negative preconceptions, like all of those hangups, all that, all of the things that we need to correct in this life about the flaws in our soul that we need to balance out, all those things that we're trying to make whole, that is the klipot. That is like layers of shells of ego that act as a veil between our consciousness and understanding and the pure light of the Creator. And those layers are the things that are keeping us from feeling that deep sense of inner peace and fulfillment and absolute certainty and faith that would be like living in the state of the Garden of Eden, just completely connected at all times and feeling completely supported and never afraid of anything and never feeling lack. Like, can you imagine never feeling need or want or a yearning longing, because your desire is full, but it's fulfilled and fulfilled from the inside, not from the outer manifestation. If you live in that fulfillment, I have desire, but I've fulfilled and I am being fulfilled and my desire is already fulfilled because I am fulfilled, then it's a lot easier to be a magnet for attracting that which you desire if you are already satisfied, because you have no need. So you're not needy, you're not being resistant, you're not causing that polarization within the law of attraction, right? So we've got 10 of Swords to start us off. Yay! Do we ever pull anything else? Like, are we just always, have we literally died 1,000 deaths? Just like here again with all my swords, just looking at my phone. Disappointing. Followed by Judgment, followed by the Devil, followed by Four of Wands. So let us unpack this, folks. My card fell into the cushion crack, into the void, the chasm. Okay. So I think that this is saying, hey, look, we're culminating in a lot of these lessons that we've been trying to get to the bottom of. Trying to get to the bottom of these shadow parts of ourselves, these subconscious patterns that are blocking our progress in life and blocking that deepest fulfillment that we were just talking about. And so part of coming to the end of that cycle is that these things that we've been mulling on for a while and trying to evolve through and transcend are going to be coming into our awareness over the next few days and over the next week. And that's probably going to involve us becoming, sometimes things come up with us just being pensive and reflective, or like putting yourself into like cleaning or something where you can get really zen and in a trance and the stuff just starts coming up. But other times it comes up because we're triggered, where our buttons are pushed. And so those buttons allow us to see exactly where the work needs to be done. The trigger is like, this is the assignment. Are you paying attention? And so we can pay attention to when we get triggered and figure out, okay, what insecurity is this coming from? Or what is underlying here? And we have more power than ever right now to start healing those things just by shining light on it, just by becoming aware of it, and then taking our time to take a breath, pause, and actually choose proactively, with all the wisdom that we've gained, how we want to go forward and how we want to react and show up in life, right? Instead of being reactive, we want to restrict the tendency to want to put a Band-Aid on something immediately, sit in the feelings, and then from there, consciously decide, I'm fulfilled in the light and I'm full of the light, and I know with absolute certainty that the light is in everything and everything's going to be taken care of, and no matter what things look like, the more certain I am, I know the more ease and flow will just move through the situation, the more grace, the more favor will move through the situation. And I am perfectly confident in that, right? I lost my train of thought. 1 second. Just that we're at the end of that cycle, we're starting to embody the fulfillment. Oh yeah, I was talking about restriction and pausing and choosing to proactively choose with all of the wisdom that you've earned, embody these lessons, which brings us to judgment. When we come to this judgment, this is the resurrection. This is the dead coming back, rising from the dead, the rebirth. This is the angel of the Lord, and this is like the soul's call to now embody all that we have come through in our soul journey up into this point, and see things now from an awakened point of view, from a spiritually awakened state. And, you know, look at life as it meets you in each and every moment, deciding to go forward anew. But this is the card that asks you to embody everything that you learned and put your money where your mouth is and start being the different person. And then it's like coming to a crossroads and choosing, okay, knowing what I know now, what direction do I want to go in from here? Who do I want to be from now on? What do I value now? What do I want to attract into my life, right? And so from here, it's about answering the call, allowing yourself to be reborn, like in Christ consciousness, born again, and living a new life, being different, be healed, be well, you know, be anew. Arise, brothers and sisters. Do the work of the Lord. And so then, this is sort of like also that moment in the movie, in the hero's journey, in the plot, where it's like the hero has been challenged and they've been off and they've been like almost even like to that point where they're just like sulking and they're like, I can't do this, it's too hard. And then they go off and they pout and they kick their foot, and then suddenly it's like in the middle of a challenge, it gets like the worst and they're like, fuck, and they like finally give up. But then like suddenly it's like eureka moment happens and they see the light and they finally get it and they have the revelation and they see how all the pieces fit together and how it all led to this moment and how it was all connected the whole time, and they finally get the lesson and then they like know what they have to do. I know what I have to do now. It's all so clear to me. Can't you see? It's always been this way all along, right? You know that part of the movie. So then from there the character goes to have the big face-off using all of the knowledge they now have, the experience, to face off with their opponent. And the opponent, our opponent, is this devil opponent, is always showing up in our life, you know, manifesting through our ego, manifesting through challenges and chaos, you know, within our experiences. It's always showing up at the level that we are evolving to. And so as we grow and evolve, so does our opponent. And sometimes the lessons start getting more and more subtle and more difficult to discern. And then sometimes there's more at stake or whatever. But now that we have come to this point in the culmination of this cycle, and the culmination of this moon cycle, and the culmination of these lessons within this cycle, within the major cycle, we're probably going to have a face-off moment this week, or many, right? Those are the triggers that are showing us those patterns that we can now meet again and maybe face a lot of similar experiences that we were like, oh, I thought I was past this. But it's just a chance to get to face off our opponent at this new level, with this new sense of strength that we have, with this new sense of sovereignty, of this, a lot of healed wounds that would have made us take things harder or more personally in the past. Maybe we've moved beyond that now. And so it's a chance for us to embody the lessons, face off with the opponent, and not only, you know, earn that next level and build that vessel to receive the light, but also show ourselves like who we really are now and what we're really made of these days. And I think on the other side of that, given that we don't short circuit this week, there's so much going on astrologically that is making everyone their worst self right now. So at least we have the inside scoop and know to expect it. And if I were you, I would go watch this week's episode of the Weekly Energy Boost. I think the channel is actually called Weekly Energy Boost, but it's one of the podcasts and YouTube shows put out by the Kabbalah Center. But every week they talk about whatever the energy is for this week in the Kabbalistic calendar of the year. And so this whole month is a challenge, but this week in particular, I think it was supposed to be kind of just expect that people may be very reactive and very emotional and maybe not on their best behavior. So at least we have a heads up. So try your best to practice self-control and stay in a state of like good well-being. Try to maintain that. And I think Four of Wands is right ahead. This is like harmony and fulfillment, a sense of satisfaction. And it's also a card that talks about marriage. And so I've been seeing this theme recently, and I think that we talked about it in our weekly oracle forecast from yesterday. So you should probably go back and watch that. There's a lot of good notes for the week, good things coming. But also talking about the marriage within, the marriage of the inner and the outer, the marriage of the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies within us. So being able to integrate those energetic forces so that we embody more of our potential and we overcome our darkness. But yeah, so this can literally mean in a mundane sense that a relationship is started that could lead to marriage, or if you're in a relationship, you know, it could mean that there's marriage coming or somebody that you know is getting married or whatever. But I really think that as it pertains to this, it's more about it's not major arcana level divine marriage or the sacred marriage, sacred union within us, but I think this is a card that says your life, the mundane life that you live, is going to start to reflect the fact that that is happening on the inside in a major way. But we're going to start seeing the beginning of the way that life can be when we know how to keep that balanced and integrated within us. All right, you guys, I think that our message is complete for the evening. I had a pretty good night at work. I don't think I ever talked about it today. It was, we had only the ladies there tonight for the most part, and plus one of our favorite, most helpful male servers. And then, of course, you know, some of the other guys that were working around, but it was like all female servers except for our one favorite golden boy. And female bartenders and female managers. So it was kind of a fun night. And it was it was a really busy night at the restaurant, and it was never chaotic. It was just this like electric hum of busyness, but it was like cooperative and calm and kind and warm and supportive. Who would have thought, right? And everything like went well, and nothing went off in a chaotic way, and there was no like chaos popping off in any way. Nobody was mad at anybody. Nobody was aggravated by or infuriated. We were just like, we all just had a good night. Who would have thought? Just get us ladies together. We get along good. All right, y'all. I will talk to you tomorrow. Ooh, I've got 3 days off ahead of me, so I can maybe post our videos a little earlier, and we will have our big full moon workshop. I guess, will that be Wednesday? I'm excited. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Ciao.